So, you did it. You built the dream rig. We're talking the latest graphics card, a CPU that could launch a rocket, more RAM than you know what to do with. But then, you're in the middle of a game, everything's on the line, and bam, a stutter, a hitch. It just freezes for a split second, long enough to ruin everything. It's not your internet, it's not a normal frame drop, it's like a ghost in your machine, right? It's the question that keeps us gamers up at night. How can a PC that's crushing it at like 200 frames a second suddenly have this tiny, infuriating seizure? You've updated every driver, tweaked every setting in the game, and yet, that micro-stutter is still there. Well, what if I told you the problem isn't your hardware, and it's not even the game's fault? Turns out, the real enemy might be lurking deep inside Windows itself. Yeah, it's a built-in feature, something Microsoft put there to, well, to help. But for what we need when we're gaming, that help can turn into a performance-killing nightmare. And this enemy has a name, SysMain. Now, if you've been around the PC block for a while, you might know it by its old name, Superfetch. It's been part of Windows for ages, just humming along in the background, trying its best to predict what you're going to do next to make your PC feel faster. The thing is, its methods, well, that's where our problems begin. So what is this thing actually doing? I mean, it's not a virus, it's not some random bug. It's actually a core part of how Windows manages your memory. It's a predictive service, and its whole job is to make your day-to-day computer use feel a little bit snappier. The best way to think about SysMain is like an overeager assistant. It's constantly watching you, learning your patterns. It's like, oh, I see you open your web browser and then Spotify every morning. Got it, I'll get those ready for you before you even ask. So it preloads all that data from your storage drive into your super fast RAM. That way, when you do click the icon, boom, it opens instantly. On paper, it's a pretty smart idea. And this is not some new feature Microsoft just threw in. This whole concept has been evolving for a long, long time. It actually started way back in Windows XP as something called the prefetcher. Then it got beefed up and renamed to Superfetch in Windows Vista, and now in Windows 10 and 11, it goes by SysMain. The point is, it's been baked into the OS for almost 2 decades.
So if it's supposed to be so helpful, where does it all go wrong for us? Well, the problem happens when the predictable, boring world of opening Office apps collides with the chaotic, unpredictable, and super demanding world of modern gaming. This is where SysMain's help creates basically a massive traffic jam on your system's data highway.
You see, modern games, think about anything from Call of Duty to Cyberpunk 2077, they use a technology called asset streaming. They don't just load the entire map into memory when you start. No way, that would take forever. Instead, as you're running around, the game is constantly, in real time, yanking massive files like 4K textures, character models, you name it, directly from your hard drive or SSD, and it needs that data right now. And there's the conflict, right there. Your game is screaming at the system, I need this texture file to render the next frame, give it to me now. But at that exact millisecond, SysMain might be in the middle of its own little project, thinking, I bet you're going to want to open Outlook in about an hour, let's start preloading that. Your game's urgent, high-priority request gets stuck in line behind SysMain's casual guess, and that little delay, that's your stutter. Oh man, does this screen give you nightmares? Come on, especially if you've ever used a mechanical hard drive. You're just sitting there, not doing anything, and you open up Task Manager and see your disk usage is just slammed at 100%. And if you look closer, you'll often see the culprit, service host SysMain, just thrashing your drive to death with its constant predictions. Okay, so you're thinking, phew, I've got a super fast NVMe SSD, so I'm safe, right? Well, not entirely. SysMain's constant background analysis still eats up CPU cycles, which can absolutely be a bottleneck in fast-paced competitive games. It's also still sending commands to your drive, creating that same traffic jam just on a much faster road. And over the long haul, all that unnecessary background activity just adds extra wear and tear to your drive. And this is the most important thing to understand. We're not doing this to get a higher average frame rate. I mean, who cares if your average is 120 FPS if the game hitches and stutters all the time? It feels awful. A perfectly smooth, consistent 90 FPS feels 1,000 times better. Our real goal here is consistency, getting rid of those jarring spikes in frame time that make the game feel choppy. That is the secret to a buttery smooth experience. All right, enough doom and gloom. We found the enemy, we know how it operates, now it's time to fight back. And the best part is, the fix is super simple, it's completely safe and reversible, and it'll take you like less than a minute to do. So here's exactly what you're going to do. First, you need to open up the Services panel.
The quickest way is to hit the Windows key and R at the same time, then just type services.msc and hit Enter. Second, you'll see a big list. Just scroll down until you find SysMain. Double-click on it, and then click that big Stop button. And finally, this is the most important step. Where it says Startup Type, change that from Automatic to Disabled. That's what stops it from coming back to life the next time you restart your PC.
Now, if you really want to go all out and make sure your storage drive is dead silent while you're gaming, SysMain isn't the only service you can look at. You can think of Windows Search, the thing that indexes all your files, and all the various telemetry services as its accomplices. Disabling them using that exact same method can have an even bigger impact, creating a totally quiet, optimized environment for your games.
Okay, but let's be real here. There's no such thing as a free lunch, right? It's really important to be transparent about what you're actually giving up by turning this service off. So let's quickly look at the pros and cons so you know exactly what the trade-off is.
Honestly, for a gamer, this trade-off is almost a no-brainer. On one side, you get to eliminate a huge cause of stutter, you free up your disk to focus only on your game, and you lower background CPU usage. What's the cost? Well, your PC might take an extra second or two to boot up, and the very first time you launch a program after a restart, it might be a tiny bit slower. For a PC that's mainly for gaming, yeah, that's a trade I'll make every single day.
And I want to be super clear about this point. By doing this, you are not turning off all of Windows Smart Memory caching. The operating system is still going to use your spare RAM to cache things you've recently opened. All you're disabling is the predictive part, that overeager assistant that's constantly guessing what you might do next. And when you're gaming, it's usually guessing wrong. At the end of the day, disabling SysMain is just a perfect example of taking back control. It's about fine-tuning your PC for what you actually do instead of just accepting the one-size-fits-all settings it comes with. And it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other default settings are secretly holding your system back? What other little secrets is your operating system keeping from you?